Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanovsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path in a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up.
Good day to you, aspiring career gurus, conversationalists, all across the fruited plain. I am Steve Yanovsky, your career guru, back to you once again with yet another installment of the Career Guru podcast, dealing with the issues of procrastinations, receiving rave feedback from you guys about this topic and what we talk about. Okay, this seems to have struck a nerve. I definitely struck a nerve with me as I was pondering in my castle of solitude, pondering what it is that we're going to be talking about on the Career Guru podcast. And I found myself procrastinating. And I thought to myself, oh, gee, procrastination. That sounds like a great topic for everybody in the career guru land and so on and so forth. So since there's so much information out there for us to talk about and only a limited amount of time to do so, I figure we'll break it up into several segments. So last time we had a vibrant discussion about this, recognizing the triggers of procrastination. Today, let's talk about some of the things to lighten your load and to unburden you a little bit, because, we are a lot of times our worst enemy. We are our worst critics. Who else but ourselves to really twist us into a pretzel? Okay, for doing, I should have done that, or I should have done that. One of my favorite biblical themes is love thy neighbor as you would yourself. We are commanded in the Bible to love thy neighbor, but in reality, we're also commanded to love God. How does one love God? It's almost impossible to do. Loving God how do you love something that is so not here? Even though God is all over the place and we're nothing without God. God is of no importance unless he is of supreme importance. But the fact of the matter is, it's all about you. We, the creation here, don't really have a clue that the creator is constantly running the show. And we are commanded to love that creator. And that creator also tells us, love thy neighbor. How does one love thy neighbor and love God? Those two things are intrinsically connected. As we know, we are created in God's image. Not necessarily that God has 5 fingers, 10 fingers, 10 toes, a head and a body. The Creator doesn't have one of these things. But it's the way that his spirit permeated into that pile of mud that was fashioned into a human. And thus, psychologically, emotionally, if you will, spiritually, we are one with the Creator. And therefore, once you realize that each person is made in God's image, it becomes sort of easier for us to love the Creator by loving your neighbor. But as we also know, charity begins at home. So if you're going to love your neighbor, you better love yourself a little bit. So, is this a Sunday school class we're having here? No, it is not. We are talking about procrastination, and we are talking about doing a number on ourselves when we find ourselves having not completed a task or not even having started the task at all. And we're going to be sitting there and saying bad things or thinking bad things about ourselves. We're going to find emotional support groups with people just like us who are, in agreement with you. Yeah, you darn tootin' you should have done it, and maybe you're just not a very good person. Keep that away from yourselves. We're not going to get into that. There is absolutely no reason for us to castigate ourselves, to chastise ourselves, rather, and once again, twist ourselves into this pretzel that is impossible to get out of, this funk of disability, almost, for us to be unable to straighten ourselves out and do what's right. So, begin to like yourself. Now, there has to be a certain reason. There's no way to keep liking yourself if you keep failing and you keep, never mind, not failing, if you keep not doing what you want to do. Okay? If you cognate, if you keep thinking that I ought to be doing it, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from actually doing it except yourself. So at some point in time, you need to create some sort of a mechanism for self-accountability, but it shouldn't come from a point of constant negativity. You really shouldn't be beat down by yourself all the time and by others as well. It's very easy to be beat down. It's actually our natural state to be beat down. It takes a lot of effort to be upbeat, even in the face of, especially in the face of adversity, which we find ourselves embroiled in the middle of. By the sweat of our brow do we earn our daily bread. That means that, we have to physically and spiritually and emotionally invest ourselves into earning a living and to take care of our families. And of course, these projects, whether they're at work or whether it's mowing your lawn, it doesn't matter what it is, or picking up after yourselves after you had dinner. Don't just, these are all these things, washing dishes or doing anything else. Procrastination is killing all of us here. This is not the way to go, and we're going to keep eating ourselves, but it's counterproductive. So let's not do that. Okay? To that effect, it's very important to reward yourself for getting at least something done. Small victories, small rewards, or big rewards. So give yourself a reward. Give yourself a pat on your back. Give yourself some kudos. Make sure you celebrate your accomplishments and achievements. Okay, give yourself time to recuperate. That's why this Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 25 minutes on, or 10 minutes off, whatever the case may be. At some point in time, when you develop that groove, you'll be able to push yourself forward. It is imperative for you to be able to get into that mode of working and resting. At some point in time, you may want to extend your period of activity and decrease your period of inactivity. But that will come with time, because with small victories and small celebrations comes motivation. It comes motivation, and you'll be able to self-motivate yourself to go forward. But there's a caveat here. Don't overdo it. Some people really push the bar so far out, they burn up in the process. Like the story with Icarus. I don't know if you remember any of these Greek fables, that this man with wings wanted to fly up higher and higher and higher. And he was so excited and motivated that at some point in time, the sun's rays just burned his wings and he fell into the sea. So we don't want to do that. This is not something that we want to participate in. So these limits, the limitations that you need to set for yourself, these borders are very specific. That's why this timing technique is very good. And that is going to drive you to actually practice solid time management skills. Okay? Solid time management skills come from this regimentation. Especially if you have your phone, you can ask whatever AI assistant on there to schedule these things for you for a full day in advance while taking into consideration your calendar schedule. This is amazing what we have today. Our productivity should be through the roof. But guess what? It's not. And you're not alone. Remember, there's a whole world of people who are exactly in the same boat as you. Okay? Several things happen with celebrating your victories. You begin to feel good about yourself. Okay? You begin to feel wonderful about yourself. These successes, they keep propelling you forward. Whereas before, you would look at your project with as it would be a daunting task. Now you're looking as something that, hey, what do I unravel next? Just to make sure not to get tuckered out, because as we mentioned before, fatigue is an awful enabler of procrastination. Okay, so make sure you get plenty of rest. Make sure you get plenty of good food, so your body can actually do the physical labor that your mind wants to accomplish. When you are exhausted, there's absolutely no way you can, approach any task. There's absolutely nothing you want to do. You actually have a solid excuse not to do it, and yet work still has to be done. So it becomes a vicious circle. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Make sure you get plenty of decent food, and make sure that you have a positive working environment. Make sure that you create a space for yourself where you are actually happy. I know we touched upon it during the previous podcast, but still, it goes hand in hand with rewarding yourself. A good place to work. That doesn't mean necessarily that you can just sit at one table. No, today with the advent of laptops or other handheld devices that allow you to do the work, you can actually transpose yourself to an area which may be better suited for your mood that very day. Someday if you're working from home, you can work out of your living room. Someday you want to work out of your kitchen. And someday you can just go outside on a beautiful sunny day and just work outdoors, as long as you actually do the work and not sit there counting pigeons. Okay, this is something that you must create for yourself. Remember, you're untethered from your desk. That environment may not be conducive for you. You may need to be there at times, but other times you can move into different areas to get the job done. Okay, of course, you can't move your sink if you have to wash the dishes, but we're talking about your professional development. We're talking about being a career guru. But I do want to tell you something rather interesting. I read a book years ago, and I'm trying to remember its name. It'll come to me. If not, I'll put it in the comments later on. But there are people who say the following, that proper work scheduling and dealing with procrastination is to start your day with a clean sink and a made-up bed. And I got to tell you, I tried that. It works great. Somewhere in the back of your mind, as you're sitting there trying to get something done, you have that feeling that there is a sink full of dishes waiting for you. And it may not be reflective of the work that you have to do that day, but it's eating away at you and it's destroying you from within. You may think that you're not thinking about it, but you are. So complete these basic tasks before you start anything. Make sure to make up your bed. It doesn't have to be perfect, but an unkempt bed is also something that eats away at you. Make sure to finish washing the dishes in your sink so that particular part doesn't eat away at you. Okay? Next piece to our positive attitude segment today about procrastination, about rewarding your success, celebrating small victories, creating a positive environment, is, of course, something that most people don't do, and that's to visualize success. You must visualize success. Some people repeat words like a mantra. Choose what you want to say. I like myself, or I'm a winner. I can do this. I'm going to do this. That's why, for example, if you watch football or basketball teams, they start their games with a huddle, and then they break and say, "Yay!" They yell something out, and off they go to tackle that day. So visualizing success, visualizing victory. You need to sit there, spend a couple of minutes before you get started, and you need to say, I am going to do this. I am going to do this. I can do this. It's within my reach. I can handle it. I'm a good person. I'm a solid professional. I deserve to get this done, or I deserve to get these 5 minutes after my 25 minutes of work. I can do it. I can do it. I will do it, and I can actually see it done. Once you visualize the final product, you are actually self-actualizing this. You're formulating your success within your mind. Okay? As you keep doing this, you will develop these positive feelings within you. You won't even know that it's happening, but this is something that's going to give you that extra oomph. These positive feelings go along with the various chemical changes within the body, within chemistry in the brain. That's why people say, spend more time smiling. As you smile, you activate certain nerves and certain muscle groups in your face that actually worked, backwards toward the brain and create a positive atmosphere within your own mind. And that gives you power. But not only that, it also affects your health, because together with solid sleep and solid diet, and now the actual visualization of success is creating that extra set of chemicals that your brain needs to actually experience happiness and joy, something that comes from winning, something that comes from success. Remember, it takes effort to be successful. It takes effort to be positive. So be positive and stay away from negative people. there are those people who actually drain you of all energy like a vampire. Okay? They're out there drinking your blood. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You actually even know who I'm talking about. Those people are out there. Overall, they mean you well, but their imposition upon you and their philosophy on life is actually draining you of that vital energy that you need to be successful. So detach yourself. That comes part and parcel with creating your environment. Positive environment means to be free of the negative to be free of the influence of the negative people around you. Sometimes when you work in the group, it's almost impossible to do physically. So if you can't build a physical barrier, you must create a psychological barrier. It's not visible. It's not tangible, but it's there. You can even visualize borders and walls around you away from that person. Create these walls. Don't allow these people to get inside your head and to poison your mind with their negativity. Find yourself moving and gravitating towards positive people. People who want to help, people who want to help you, people who want to propel you forward. They're actually, these people actually succeeded themselves. And I told you that before. People who got up from failure again and again and again want to give you a hand up themselves. They don't want to keep it to themselves. Okay? It's the people who got to the place where they were going by some other means rather than their own personal success. Those people will never help you. But people who actually personally succeeded, people who have overcome failure, people who have overcome their own complacency and, yes, indeed, procrastination, okay? These are the people you want to be. You want them to be within your support structure. That's why, for example, every 12-step program has a support structure behind you each time. I'm not telling you that this is a support group, by no means. But in some way it is. You know that the entire Guru Nation is struggling with this. Everyone is struggling with, with this. There's very few people out there who actually have beaten procrastination and made activity and movement forward almost a religious experience for them. But too many of us out there are engaged in procrastination and engaged in negativity. You got to stay away from those folks unless they have beaten this and who are actually helping you to move forward. That is that environment. That is your support structure. Okay? And of course, there's a little bit more. There's a lot more to this. There's only so much we can do in these 20 plus minute segments. Okay? But this is, remember, 20, 25 minutes on and 5 minutes off. This, we're all working on this particular schedule. I don't know if you noticed, but these podcasts are somewhere in the zone. It's that way for a reason. Okay? I'm doing this to be with you for this block of time. And I'm going to reward myself when I'm done with this for a job well done. And how do I know this? Through your continued support and your emails and however else you reach out to me. That's why I welcome your emails at podcast@bostoncareer.org. Please keep writing. Please stay in touch. Let me know if the content is actually making sense to you. Let me know what else you want to hear from me. I'd love to share my experience with you further because no one has failed more than I have. Well, that may not be entirely true, but believe me when I tell you, my path in my career has been fraught with all sorts of trials and tribulations, But one thing about me is that I keep getting up. As long as I can get up, I will get up. I want to get up. I don't want to experience this funk of darkness and negativity because it physically impacts my life as I know it does yours. Okay? When you are done doing all these things that we're talking about, when you completed a task after you're done celebrating, it's time to turn and look back and to see, what did I do right? What was good? What was not so good? What required improvement? Okay? It's time to evaluate and adjust. Evaluate and adjust. This is the time to look back, to learn valuable lessons from what has happened. Nothing gives you more valuable lessons than failure. Success is great, but failure is an even better teacher. A, you don't want to fail. B, you can clearly see in retrospect, what they say, hindsight is 20/20, looking back to see. Don't let somebody else tell you, you should have done it this way, or I told you so. Oh, that's my favorite, okay? But it's you. Look back. Take a step by step. Find the root cause of failure and change it forever, permanently. It's that aha moment. See what happened. What did I do wrong? What caused this plan to fail? I can see what happened. It's clear as day. Just, don't wear the rose-colored glasses, but you don't have to wear the black ones either. You don't have to see everything in darkness. No. Like I said, we started. Give yourself a break. Like yourself. Not without any reason, but you started, you're doing it, great. That's the way for us to go. What is that going to do? It's also going to help you develop resilience. Developing resilience is a topic for a podcast all in itself, multiple podcasts. And perhaps if I, motivate myself well enough, we may be able to come back and, talk about how we develop resilience. Okay? But it's important. It's important to develop this part, to develop thick skin if necessary, and be mindful of yourselves and others. I know it's kind of hard to understand how to be mindful of yourself and others, but these are the parts, okay? A lot of times when we're not mindful of ourselves, when we're not mindful of the pitfalls that are all around us and the people who are around us, a lot of times that's root causes of failure too, when you didn't take other people into consideration or you didn't take yourself into consideration. I'll make a note of this. This is something definitely for us to discuss. I'll make a note of this and we'll make a point to talk about this. And of course, last but not least for today is to focus on your future growth, which is part and parcel of developing resilience and celebrating small victories, evaluation and adjustment. That will give you an opportunity to focus on what we started with visualizing success. And this is going to be our focus in moving forward. This is key because stagnation will ultimately make you fall backwards. You cannot stand stagnant. You cannot just rest on your laurels because the world keeps moving forward, as should you. You don't want to be left behind. So focusing on growth in reality is almost like treading water, nice and slow, but you're still treading, okay? But you stayed afloat for a while, got tuckered out, and once you stop treading, down you go. No, you have to focus on growth and keeping up with the world as it changes all around you. But that's what makes it so much fun. Well, I think we've talked enough for today. We've addressed a lot of wonderful issues. My 25-minute Pomodoro clock is about to go ding, ding, ding. And it's time for us to end today's session talking about procrastination and how to beat that vile animal. And with that, my dear friends, I bid you farewell. I look forward to seeing you soon. This has been an absolutely wonderful experience for me today, as I hope it will be for you. God bless you all. This is the Career Guru signing off. Looking forward to spending more time with you really soon.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number, 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. Hashtag the new radio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanovsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. Hashtag let's career up.